Bitcoin, the revolution that will change the world is here. But first, what is Bitcoin? Please join us for the next 3 minutes to overview the revolution from the past all the way to the future. Bitcoin is the first decentralized digital currency, the system that works without a central repository or single administrator. The network is peer-to-peer, and transactions take place between users directly through the use of cryptography, without an intermediary like banks, for example. These transactions are verified by network nodes and recorded in a public distributed ledger called a blockchain. Back in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto published a white paper that explained how Bitcoin and the peer-to-peer system works. 1 year later, 2009, the diffusion of innovation started. The Bitcoin released as an open source software, and people start to be aware and read more about the new coin and the technology behind it, the blockchain. Until in 2015, it was the year in which blockchain was the financial sector's buzzword, and people start to understand what the new technology does. People start to see how Bitcoin can compete and change the way we use money today, with the relative advantage of cut unnecessary intermediary like banks. And when economic leaders like Bill Gates, Richard Branson, and Chamath Palihapitiya support the new coin, and even own some, it is difficult to argue that Bitcoin isn't the next thing. Nowadays, many people decide to purchase Bitcoin, and the value of the currency raising up due to increase of demand. Today, we are in the stage that government and institutes have to decide what to do with this disruptive innovation. After that, we can continue to the implementation and confirmation steps of the technology in the future. According to the technology adoption lifecycle, the innovators group were programmers and developers who mainly traded Bitcoin in forums among themselves. Then in 2011, organizations like WikiLeaks and others began to accept Bitcoins for donations and were some of the first early adopters. Today, Bitcoin adoption in most of the marketplaces is around 5%. Most of them are specular investors. The technology is still adopting by the early adopters group, which eventually will help diffuse this technology among the masses. If we will look at the technology adoption according to the S-curve, we will see that all the cryptocurrencies that troubled in the fermentation stage were in a sort of competition. The currency that will be more convincing in the eyes of the innovators will have the possibility of passing to the next stage. In our case, the currency that certainly made the difference is the Bitcoin. The dominant design, Bitcoin, has almost been determined. As a consequence, we can see a rapid period of growth as the innovation moves towards full market acceptance. However, we are still very far from the stage of maturity. The technology have to overcome major technical obstacles like user experience and suitable infrastructure. It is a new technology, and the acceptance phase is just beginning. We will have to be patient and wait to see how the market reacts to this new currency so we can discuss the maturity or the discontinuity stage. These analyses demonstrate how the revolution began until this day. Bitcoin and the blockchain technology force us to rethink the way organizations, processes, and markets work. In the future, the financial industry will be disrupted by the utilizing of the new technology, and it will help people around the world who do not have access to financial services to gain access and join the revolution. It has the potential to fundamentally change the way we think about ownership and money. We predict that the future of value is digital. Bitcoin is more than just doing things more effective. It's the beginning of a paradigm shift where people will start to trust the technology more than they trust humans.